Alright, let's dive into this transfer news that's got the football world buzzing, Tottenham's latest deal involving young talent. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, let me ask you this: why do clubs like Spurs seem so keen on offloading academy players? Is it a strategic move, or are they just balancing the books? Personally, I think there's more to it than meets the eye. Let's break it down. So, here's the deal. Tottenham has agreed to sell a 21-year-old player to a championship club for £7 million upfront, with potential add-ons and a sell-on clause. Now, what makes this really interesting is the player in question, someone with over 100 championship appearances already. That's a lot of experience for someone so young. But here's where it gets even more intriguing: Spurs only signed him for £2.5 million last year. That's a quick turnaround for a tidy profit. In my opinion, this isn't just about the money, it's about squad management and long-term strategy. One thing that immediately stands out is the sell-on clause. Spurs aren't just letting this player go, they're ensuring they benefit if he thrives elsewhere. This raises a deeper question: are clubs like Tottenham becoming more savvy in their transfer dealings, or are they just hedging their bets? From my perspective, it's a bit of both. The modern transfer market is unpredictable, and clubs need to protect their investments. What many people don't realize is that these clauses can be game changers down the line, especially if the player becomes a star. Now, let's talk about the player's experience. Over 100 championship appearances at 21? That's impressive. But here's the catch: if he's so experienced, why isn't he breaking into the Spurs' first team? Personally, I think it's a reflection of the depth Tottenham has in their squad. The Premier League is a different beast, and sometimes players who excel in the Championship struggle to make the leap. This deal might be as much about giving the player a chance to shine elsewhere as it is about Spurs cashing in. What this really suggests is that Tottenham is streamlining their squad while maximizing revenue. They've already banked close to £100 million in outgoing transfers this summer, and this deal is just the latest example. But here's the broader perspective: in today's football economy, clubs can't afford to carry dead weight. Every player needs to either contribute on the pitch or add value off it. This deal ticks both boxes: Spurs get a financial boost, and the player gets a chance to develop. A detail I find fascinating is the 15% profit clause Blackburn negotiated when they sold him to Spurs last year. That's forward thinking on their part, and it shows how interconnected the transfer market is. Clubs are no longer just selling players, they're investing in their future success. If you take a step back and think about it, this is the new reality of football. It's as much about business as it is about sport. Finally, let's not forget the bigger trend here: Tottenham's academy exodus. This player is just the latest in a string of young talents leaving the club permanently. Is this a sign of a failing academy, or is it a strategic shift? Personally, I think it's the latter. Spurs are focusing on quality over quantity, and they're not afraid to move players on if they don't fit into their long-term plans. It's a ruthless approach, but in today's competitive landscape, it might be the only way to stay ahead. So, what's the takeaway here? In my opinion, this deal is a microcosm of modern football: strategic, financial, and unforgiving. It's not just about buying and selling players, it's about building a sustainable model for success. And as fans, we're left to wonder, who's next? And what does this mean for the future of clubs like Tottenham? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think about this deal and the bigger trends it represents.